Well, it is 10 a.m., so that means it is time for Tuesday Tips. And I'm Pastor J.B. Whitfield, J.B. Whitfield Ministries, and, I'm here to help you in any way that I can. Go to our website and take a look at all the things that we have available to help you with, and one-on-one coaching and working with your church and reorganizing. Every church should reorganize. Every business ought to look at reorganizing their ministry every 2.5 years. And Pastor Brian Wright, we went down and helped him and his leaders not long ago. And if you got any questions, just call Pastor Brian. He'll be glad to let you know what that did to help him. But I've been talking about over the last few Tuesdays, I've been talking to you about 5 critical statements that we must never forget. And I just want to keep reminding you of that. And the one that I've been talking about for the last 3 Tuesdays, or last 2 Tuesdays, has been growth without change is impossible. And I told you that there are 3 areas that we need to make sure that we as leaders bring and enact change in. One is personal change. That we as the senior pastor, you as the youth pastor, you as the business owner, or you as the department head, whatever area of leadership you are in, the first change that needs to take place is personal change. Because you're going to have to make sure, you got to look at who you are. Got to look at where you are. Look at your leadership style. Look at how you do things. And then enact change for you. I was the one that had to change at Agape Faith Church before we went to the next level and before God was able to take us to where we are now. And then last week I talked to you about culture change. This is probably, I could have spent months on that, but I'll talk about culture later on, even in a greater depth, because, culture is so vitally important. And you as the leader must design the culture that you desire to have in your ministry, in your business, in your family. Because if you don't design it, then someone else will. And I always tell people, culture comes either by design or by default. You either design it or someone else is going to design it because you did nothing about it. And that, I told you that John Maxwell says culture eats vision for lunch. And I've made the statement for years that culture trumps vision. You can have the greatest vision in the world, but if your culture does not match it or trump it actually, then you will not achieve your mandates from God. And then the third type of change that I want to talk to you about today is constructive change. Now, this is change that I had to learn how to do constructive change. And I had to be proactive in it. This is proactive change, if you will. This is change that you as the leader sees that needs to be done even before there is an issue or a problem. See, constructive change is simply change made because you as the leader feels that it is necessary. Hallelujah. In other words, you feel that there's got to be a change in personnel, a change in position of someone, a change in a particular ministry. But you as the leader, you sense that in your spirit. You feel that, and you can't get away from it. And even though those around you may not see the need for change, but if you as the leader feel that there is change necessary, then you have to lead that change, and you lead constructive change. And this is where you make a change before a problem arises, or actually, really, this is change to prevent a problem from coming. Let me give you an example on how this is. Years ago, our preschool ministry, and I called in our preschool director. She was full-time on staff. And I called her in and I said, and I told her, I said, I just feel in my spirit that you need to double the space for our 4- and 5-year-old classroom. You need to double the space. Now, her immediate response was, Pastor, we don't need to do that. Now, I'm talking to the student ministries team here. And Pastor, we don't need to do that. And I said, it's not a matter of need. It's a matter that we need to double the space for our 4 and 5 year olds and for our 4 and 5 year old classroom. We need to double the space. Well, they did. They found out where they could put it. They got the room ready. They did a marvelous job of expanding and doubling the 4 and 5 year old classroom. 2 weeks after it was finished, we needed it. Glory to God. Now see, if I hadn't have picked that up in the spirit, and if I hadn't have gone to my student ministries team, and if I hadn't have told them that we need to double the space of our 4 and 5 year old classroom, then that day we would have had a problem. Then it would have been several weeks later, while they were getting the room ready, that we would have still had a problem, and we would have lost people because we did not lead constructive change. Constructive change is something that you as the leader, also let's take the student ministries pastor or youth pastor or whatever. You sense something in your ministry, then you bring it up line to your superior, to your leader, because you're sensing. So you got to be proactive with constructive change. This is also change that stretches the ministry or stretches the business to the next level. This is change that it will take each area of ministry, as well as those in those positions, will take them to another level. I'll give you another great example. I just felt we needed to reorganize. We needed to make a change. I felt I needed to move Pastor Michael back over student ministries and to move Pastor Michael into standing beside me in JB Whitfield Ministries. And that I needed to move Pastor Chris over the Triad Dream Center. And then took life groups from Pastor Murray, put it with Pastor Chris. And it brought new life to everyone. It brought new life to Pastor Chris. He has an entrepreneurial spirit. He thinks like an entrepreneur. And so he has taken the Triad Dream Center to a whole new level and has taken it beyond where it was. Pastor Michael he's one of the best student ministries leaders and youth and children's pastors and workers. And I'm telling you, some of the stuff that he and Pastor Belinda have done during this COVID and shutdown that we're not in, it's been phenomenal. But not only that, he has come alongside me and he can teach leadership. It has raised him to a new level in being the leader and someone that can take JB Whitfield Ministries to the next level. I could not be where I am today if it weren't for Pastor Michael and the team. Pastor Michael could not be helping me the way he is today if he were still in the position over the Triad Dream Center. So constructive change takes the business, takes the ministry to a new level, but it also takes those that are over it. I wrote this. This is change that will cause your team members. Now listen to this. Constructive change is change that will cause your team members to either grow or recognize that they are as high as they can go, or that there needs to be a change in their position. And I say it this way. This is constructive change because either a position has outgrown the person leading it, or the person has outgrown that position. That happens in both cases. We've had both cases. We've had this happen in both cases. And if you as the leader don't recognize that, then what happens is that particular area of ministry will stop growing. It will plateau, and then eventually it will go down. Because why? The position has outgrown the person. The person hasn't kept up with the growth of that particular area of ministry. Also, if if the person outgrows the ministry. In other words, they've got it, it's going, they're not challenged anymore, they are no longer, they can do it with their eyes closed, they've got teams in place, and this is what happened. They get bored, and they are no longer challenged in their position. And many times you lose good leaders, you lose good staff personnel because they're not challenged any longer. They don't feel valued. They do not feel like they're valued any longer because they're no longer challenged in the position that they are in. And we have to look at volunteers this way. Many times if you have volunteers serving as ushers, or volunteers serving in the children's ministry, or volunteers serving in different positions in church, and you realize this person, they're just going through the motions because they do it and they do it and they do it. But what happens is many times they get bored with what they're doing and they're no longer challenged. And then the next thing you know, they will back up. They'll step down. Here's what happens. They'll step down from ministry. They'll feel like they've died. Next thing you know, they're gone. So you need to be aware that constructive change is vitally important for the growth of your business and ministry. My goodness, I just looked down. I'm supposed to be here 10 minutes and it's 10:11. Hey, listen, I've enjoyed this with you today. Remember, you as a leader, you've got to lead personal change, you've got to lead cultural change, and you've got to lead constructive change. Hey, join us. Don't forget. Don't forget to sign up. Go on our website and sign up. Become a partner, because we've got we've got a Zoom meeting that we meet with partners, and we meet with pastors and leaders that want to meet on a monthly basis, and we do that. And sign up for go on our website, because you get our newsletter. We'll minister to you and all those. I'm telling you, your life will be changed. Pastor Michael said, change will cause your team members to either grow or recognize change is needed, and constructive change can happen when the person outgrows the position or the position outgrows the person. Boy, that sounds great. Hey, listen, guys, I love you. God bless you, and I'll see you next Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. for Tuesday Tips. And you have a blessed and awesome day.